McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
At State Farm, we're committed to uplifting Black futures. In collaboration with organizations like 100 Black Men and National Urban League, State Farm provides high school students with the opportunity to learn and apply best practice strategies for saving and investing, all while offering academic support, life skills, and exposure to college access programs to prepare these students for life after high school. Check out 100blackmen.org and nul.org to donate and learn more. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy David with Black Wealth Renaissance, and I'm here today to tell you guys about Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the best place to make a podcast. Anchor is a free app that has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast straight from your phone. Anchor also distributes your podcast across all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. You can also make money on your podcast with Anchor with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're looking to get started on your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.
You know the rules of the game.
Yeah.
You know the rules of the game. I don't care what color. Can you make me $100 million? Let's talk money. Can you make me that? If you can't make me that, I don't want to talk to you. You shouldn't even be at this table.
Hey, I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily. All I want is dubs. You know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper. All I know is run money marathon.
Do 5 years of this and be a millionaire and go on do what I want to do, have kids, go live my chip and joy in the games life out here in Texas, or struggle for the next 10 years. The choice is yours.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Our goal of this podcast is to normalize black wealth and share helpful resources and tips we believe will be useful in attaining and maintaining generational wealth. Please feel free to rate and comment on our podcast. We would love to hear all feedback you have. Now, enjoy the show.
What's good, y'all? It's Jared here with Black Wealth Renaissance. We're here at the Yes Honey Collective. It's been an amazing event. It's been like crazy just listening to all these panels and all these people dropping all this knowledge. Now we've gotten a few of them separated, and we're about to have a roundtable session where we're going to talk with 4 very influential groups. We're going to talk with Millionaire Mindset, the Unconventional Wealth, Black Wealth Renaissance, and we're even going to be featuring the King Me podcast. So with that being said, I want to roll straight into it, and I want to get everybody to go ahead and introduce themselves and talk about what they do and how they go about it. And I'm going to just go ahead and pass it off to the next person.
All right. My name is Josh. Josh David, JD, whichever you want to call me. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I dabble in politics. I dabble in real estate. I dabble in finance. Current endeavor that's really consuming most of my time is Claris Limeade. It's a recipe that my grandmother gave me, before she passed, and it's a beverage company that I currently run and own.
I'm Jalen. I'm one of the co-founders of Black Wealth Renaissance, and primarily I just work on the business. I jumped off the porch in October to really just say, let's do it. And what I'm primarily just doing is working with my bros. We're spreading financial literacy. We're pushing the agenda of working together through group economics. We're also just pushing the agenda that we are not stagnant. We're not a stagnant race. We have a lot more to offer. And that's pretty much what I got.
All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Ogie Madu, aka Money Madu. Primarily known through Black Seed Group, which is an investment firm that deals with raising money to invest in real estate, stocks, and businesses in general. I'm a personal finance author, so I've written a book called 10 Reasons Why You're Living Senseless, which is published by my friend Adrian here.
Also, I have my own fitness athletic line called Phoenix Athletica, and just always up for partnerships with, Xavier, B, Josh. It's funny how, we had the whole unconventional wealth chat. It's just guys from Twitter. Guys from Twitter. That's pretty much how it all started. So I'm glad to be a part of, this roundtable here. Glad to be a part of, all these strong black men and just being able to talk real shit.
I'm Xavier Miller. I'm an entrepreneur, real estate investor, real estate consultant. I'm half a millionaire mindsets. I'm also Air Force veteran, hailing from Chicago. And pretty much my goal is pretty much similar to BWR, just putting our community on, giving us access to conversations that we often not like privy to. Just hearing people like y'all have these conversations, and most people ain't got access to this. They don't hear shit like that. And I know because I get the feedback all the time. People saying, like, I've been selling dope all my life. I ain't never heard no people talking like this. So you hearing these conversations, we just trying to put them on a mass scale so people know it's hella options for us. Like you talk about doing kingship. It's hella options for us. If we call ourselves kings, we got access to anything. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do. There ain't nothing stopping us but ourselves. So that's pretty much my whole goal.
My name is Kelly Rhodes. I'm a co-founder of Black Wealth Renaissance. I handle most of the product development for Black Wealth Renaissance. And I actually also have a full-time gig as a safety coordinator for an oil company out in West Texas. And I'm just here. Basically, as for Black Wealth Renaissance, our goal is to help others maintain and attain generational wealth throughout the black community. Because we started this because there's not a lot of platforms that you can go to and see all this great information on how to get that generational wealth, and we just want to keep spreading the information.
Bless up. My name is Chris and Play, one half of the King Me podcast, hailing from Sacramento, California, Northern California to be exact. CEO and founder of For Your Epiphany Foundation Incorporated. It's a nonprofit here where we work with all generations of people. I started working with babies to help them fall in love with themselves and their dreams. And as a result of them falling in love with their dreams and themselves, they've been able to excel in different places. The problem was there was generational trauma that was taking place. And so I would get 5 steps and they would take 10 back, right? And it was happening constantly. I got them for 2 hours. They got to be in school for 10. Then they got to go home for 15. So everything that I'm doing, I'm untangling, right? So starting in high school, my little brother back there was one of my first students. How do you know? 22, 23? I had him when he was 15, right? And so we spent our whole relationship untangling everything that he was a part of when he was a youngster before I got to him, so that he can have a prevalent, vibrant, thriving life. And the reason we started the podcast, the King Me podcast, shout out to my brother Kun the Poet, was because the philosophies and the ideologies that we live by were unwritten. And the content wasn't available in the space that it should have been. So we developed it to put it out because we're educators, we're teachers by trade. But when we left the classroom or left the speaking engagement or left the session, we took it with us. And we wanted to create legacy, so we started creating content that could be passed down. I'm a father of 3, so if anything happens to me, I want my babies to be able to press play, and they still got access to daddy and daddy's information. Their great grandkids can come back and play what I left them, right? So at 35, man, for me, it's about generational wealth, not just finance, right? But mentality and love and legacy and prosperity and finance, right? So a holistic view on legacy and success. And it's an honor, man. First of all, welcome to California, Northern California. You feel me? Got it, I mean. Appreciate y'all being here, man. And it's a privilege and an honor to have y'all in the space with us to see other kings sitting at the table, man. So welcome for sure. Appreciate it.
What's going on? Brandon, real estate investor, acquisition manager, independent insurance adjuster. I own a few other businesses. Really, I want to just say thank y'all because I met a lot of y'all through Twitter within the last year or so, and I literally have business with each and every one of you. So I do want to say I appreciate y'all for having me, and I'm looking forward to doing everything we set out to do.
And my name is Adrian Kennedy, and my background is pretty spread out. Some work in artificial intelligence for different government agencies, finance. I've been in finance since 2006, started as an asset manager, and currently my main project is running my technology and consulting company, Escape. And the latest, most popular, well, not the most popular, but most public project is Growthopedia, which I'm building now, which is a network focused on growth, a SaaS project, has real estate aspects and mentorship aspects, really just an information resource where people can grow and learn for themselves and for their businesses. And so that's really what I'm focusing on now.
All right, that's really cool. And one thing I did want to also roll into from what we had talked about before we had gotten a chance to start recording, we were talking about kingship and more specifically king shit, goddammit. So we wanted to talk about, like, what do you view as king shit? Like, what do you view as part of your contribution to the community, and how do you look as that black king? So I still want to pass that around and keep that going as well, because I thought that was a really cool question.
All right.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
To be completely frank and to be completely honest, it's about extreme accountability and making sure that, our community as a whole doesn't take the division of outsiders to heart, and that we don't allow information to seep through so that people can reverse engineer our plans and use them against us. I think kingship and king shit all involves us standing on each other's back and shoulders and holding each other up at the best we can. So that way, when we have outsiders come into our community, there's nothing that they can say. There's nothing that they can do to unbind us. We need to be literally like Velcro straps. You got to pull very hard to get us off. And I think also, going back to extreme accountability, we also have to be willing to accept, what comes with extreme accountability. If you mess up, there has to be a forgiveness trail too. You can't just say, well, yeah, you did wrong, own that, without, first doing the work to say, you know what, we forgive you, let's move forward and let's learn something from this. We have too many people that's pointing the finger saying you fucked up, you did wrong, and they're not allowing them back in, and now you got an outsider who wants nothing more than to see your downfall. Exactly. I don't know the exact statement, but they said the kid that's denied the village warmth, burned it down. Yeah. That's real. I grew up in Chicago. You know exactly what that's like. You guys see the violence that go on every day there, and that that's besides that being put out there more than I think it should, because it's not as bad as people make it. I think a lot of that has to come down with people not understanding that we all are accountable to each other. So when that bullet fly out the gun, we might as well all shot that, because if that brother or that sister is laid down on the ground, guess what? We're gonna all feel that. Like you said, that generational trauma, that's not something you want to pass down, because we got enough of that encoded in our DNA. Eventually at some point we have to look at healing, and I'm not talking about the the old kumbaya version of healing. Let's go seek therapy. That we gotta stop sprinkling that shit like it's parsley. We gotta look at from a standpoint of from a holistic view, as you stated. The conversation has to be between us, where we gotta forgive each other. You know what I mean? That's my biggest thing when I say kingship and king shit. Owning it, but also being respectful enough to allow people to make mistakes and come back and get that embrace that they need.
Hey, that was deep, bro. And I just kind of want to piggyback off of what you were saying about not letting people come into our community, because that touched me. Because there's a lot of times we'll let people come into our community, they look good and whatever, and then you grant them those rights. They can come to the barbecue and all of those type of things. But then once they start to change the narrative, you're upset because now you gave them the power to do that. You gave them the power to say, okay, you can do this. No, you have to, like you said, you have to protect. You have to protect your community. We have to actually look at it as it is a kingdom. You should have that moat, that barrier of protection, to where you say, okay, there is some smoke coming up. Let me see what's going on. Let me start to prepare myself. We need to be prepared for whenever something is going down. We shouldn't be reactive. You should be proactive. Don't wait until the shit happen. We should be ready for whenever it do happen, and we just got to push the button. It's a difference. And that's what I'm viewing as kingship and king shit.
Shit. But you know, for me, you know what they say, segregation kind of ruined the black people. You know what I mean? Because like with the integration, you allowed all these people to kind of come in, and then what's happening is, yeah, you know, certain races have nicer things, so all of a sudden we're trying to latch on to that when it's something where we are smart enough, we do have the resources, let's go ahead and build our own. One of the biggest things for me is like not trying to always, you know, oh, this bar isn't letting me in, let's build our own bar, that our own people, you know what I mean? And so kind of just backtracking what as far as like kingship goes is like some of the things I plan to do, and in the process of doing is, for example, I have this real estate fund. This fund is simply, I'm working with Brandon on this. I'm raising $10 million to purchase property in Memphis, in Houston, in the hood, revitalizing most of these houses that have been vacant, that have been abandoned. Whenever you rehab these homes, even if we put them on Section 8 for a little bit, that allows the people in the community to stay there until they get this shit together. Still be proud of something new that they do have, and then from there that allows them to, because it's not going to, you know, go overnight to where everybody just has the same mentality as all of us. There's still a lot of people that still believe in the victim mentality. So with me, it's like we got to start that process. And so and then the second part of it is the biggest thing for me is our kids. I don't have any yet, but I know when I do, me passing that legacy on is very, very, very big proponent to me. So one of the things I will do is open up a school that pretty much teaches, even if it's like financial literacy, just putting us in a situation to where we aren't always last. We aren't always getting this last part, you know, just stuff. It's like putting us ahead, because a lot of this stuff is like knowledge. You look at the Asians, they go to the normal school, and then they have after school Asian programs. They're constantly learning. They constantly learn about their culture. They're constantly learning about everything else. And so it's like, why are these people ahead? It's because they have things, they have a certain situation. They have, like I said, the culture again, to where that's a normal thing. And so for me, building the school here, I'm Nigerian. Well, I was born here, but you know, I'm Nigerian. Building the school back in Nigeria as well, and making sure that our kids have the necessary foundation so that there isn't any excuses going forward.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, it's not too much I could say, because they all said amazing things. But I think kingship is ownership, like you said, accountability, owning our the narrative of our community, what we doing, owning our mentality, owning our thoughts, and also just being an honorable person, taking care of your community, take care of the person that's next to you, like working together. Because as we all know, dynasties and great shit is not individual. It's gonna be a collective that gotta do it. Can't none of us do all this amazing shit by ourselves. We gonna be so much greater and so much bigger working together. And in fact, we ain't got no choice but to work together, because we in such a deficit that if a motherfucker trying to work alone, you ain't doing shit. So we gonna have to stick together and be a strong unit. So I feel like as far as kingship, I look at it from a collective more than an individual thing. Like I always had a mentality since I was a younger, growing up in Chicago. Chicago's a real cultured city, especially when you go into Black history and shit like that. So I always had the mentality of it takes a community. It's not gonna be one person. So sticking together, like I said, owning our communities, owning our mentality, take care of our families, and most importantly, being an example, because that's the most important thing I feel in our community is being an example for one another. That's why I'm so pro. Like I tell Brandon a lot, like, yo, you gotta get out there more. People need to see this shit. Cause there's so many people, you will be surprised. You probably know, even being out here, they think it's no other way. You know what I'm saying? So just being accessible, but not to the point where we like going through too much shit. But you know what I'm saying? Being accessible, showing people, and just taking care of one another, take care of our families, most importantly, take care of our communities. That's kingship and king shit to me.
I kind of want to just pick it up with what Zay said with the accountability as a group. To me, kingship and king shit is us as a group, who people that know us and when we're gone, people that knew us, that tell us that, hey, this person was a great father, a great dad. He was a great person. He was a great friend, and he also, built generational wealth. To me, anything that I do, any business deal, any stock that I invest or anything, the first thing that comes to mind is my bloodline. What am I leaving for my bloodline? What am I doing so my granddaughters or my grandsons have something that came from me? That's my first thought in anything that I do, and I think that's something big, and it's for us as a community. We got to have that accountability. We got to make sure that hey Zay, make sure you own your stuff. Make sure you're doing what you need to do, but also praising that man whenever he is doing that right. Okay, so there's two sides to it, but that's to me is what kingship is.
So me looking at, I was telling Young King over there earlier. Shout out to my brother Six. He said when we were younger, his definition of success was really failure, right? So when I'm thinking legacy and holistic success, right? I'm thinking poverty mindset, right? Historically and generationally, what have we been fed as a definition of success? What does that mean? What does it look like? And in order for us to understand the culture and the climate, in order for us to have protection, in order for us to set up generational wealth, take care of the families, and educate our people, we have to find out what the definition and the ideology of success is, because it's not what we thought it was, right? It's not what they show us on TV. Like you was just saying, like I'm not just an athlete, right? I'm not just an artist. I'm not just a black man. I'm not just a student. Like I'm literally capable of anything and everything that I put my mind to, right? But there are specifications for me. I can master something specific and then branch out and do other things once I master that one craft, right? And that'll make room for me. So as the Bible says, right, your gifts make room for you, right? And the seed goes to the sower. So I'm looking at the perspective of kingship holistically and changing the narrative so that it exists for all of us in the same perspective, because we all from different places, which means we have different definitions, we have different norms, we got different ideologies. But imagine when we all go back home, if we all have the same streamlined idea of success, right? And we all move the same, even though we are compartmentalized. Some people do real estate, some people do business, some people doing some futuristic shit that I can't even spell. If we have them type of ideologies, we can literally set up a system so we can define what success is for us, and we don't have to live in the definition of success really being failure at the end of the day, because it's really not what we think it is, because them other motherfuckers is playing by a different set of rules. And if we don't have keys to the kingdom to get in their kingdom, we ain't never gonna learn the rules, right? So again, like kingship for me is how do we create and own our narrative and put ourselves in a position so that success is tangible, right? And our narrative, our culture, our heritage belongs to us, and it's not predicated or defined by anybody else or anything else.
All right, so kingship to me, kingship is building a legacy. Throughout history, kings have been leaders. They've been partners. They've been fathers. They've been, all these great things. They've been great men, historically. And it's a community, like y'all said, it's a community effort. Okay, anyway. But yeah, kingship is just, being building something that is going to last throughout history for your folks, for people that's you're not going to live to see. Kingship is, like you said, accountability. Owning up to what you're doing the right thing even when nobody's looking, and just being the best person you can be. And like relentless, just whatever's in your way, just knock it down. I think I tell people all the time, the major difference between us and them, they may have the easiest access to everything, but there's not one single law that says we can't do that. Right. We gotta go out there and find a way to do it. When you find the ways to get into stuff like insurance adjusting, I've been in it 3-4 years, and it's mostly predominantly all white men. You find a way to get into that and bring more young black people in there. That's king shit. You're doing what Adrian's doing, building a platform where literally everybody can go on there and learn, and and submit their piece of information or whatever. That's king shit. And I'm gonna pass it on to Adrian now.
And from my perspective, I would say kingship is ownership, and not just ownership of physical goods and financial assets, but ownership of the mental space and what ideas and perceptions and realities you have in your head. Because I think a lot of times
the NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
A detriment to a lot of us has been letting other people's definitions and perspectives define us, and being able to unlearn things that aren't helpful and don't help you produce any type of mental or financial wealth and success is easily one of the first steps to becoming a king, because first you have to conquer yourself before you conquer any lands. And so being able to do that and form partnerships across literally the country and the world with other people, so then you can have these valuable networks that we're building here. And that's really how I would define kingship, is just having that ownership, owning your relationships, like your ideas, like your assets, the education of the people in your community and family, like from the ground up, just owning everything, like forever. That's how I define it.
As far as what I define or what I see as kingship and what I see as like kingship, so not to go too much off of like piggybacking off of what B said, but I see kingship with the P as being like the standard that we hold ourselves to, like the way that we establish a standard for us to carry ourselves as not only like African American people, but also specifically as far as this group goes, for African American men. Like I feel like we don't have a lot of that established standard that we hold each other to on a regular established basis. But I feel like that's what kingship itself is that standard and holding each other to it. And I feel like kingship is going back to what Maydu does with the Black Seed shares. You give people the opportunity to be able to invest and do better in their situation. That's king shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what Zay does with Park Hill Capital and y'all consulting and all that. giving people the opportunity, like our king over here who has the capital but just don't have the network or the people to be able to get into real estate in different areas. That's king shit. You know what I mean? Like being able to help people and come through and provide those resources for the other folks, because we, especially at this point in the game, I think everybody knows that there's a lack. Like there's something missing there. That link needs to be filled in somehow. But with that being said, and with us all kind of establishing what we think the standard is and where we need to go about it, what do y'all think? Because I know some people said it, but what do y'all think is the next step as far as how do we go about getting that out there? Like, how do we get the rest of the culture up to kingship, queenship, the whole thing just being a regular thing?
One, we need to control the hood intellectual property. What I mean is,
what is the hood intellectual property first?
Is who we are as a people, what we stand for as a people, and how we go about using who we are and what we stand for to get to our larger goal of being, from a generational standpoint, of having wealth, right? Like, again, we're so quick to give it away. We're so forgiving. We're so, and then, people take, and they don't give nothing back, right? So what happens when you have IP? Like, if you own an idea, nobody can take it from you, right? And if they use it, they got to license it from you, right? People need to start paying for that. Like, we see it all the time. People on Twitter, they give all these ideas away. They're like, oh, yeah, and then, they want to, when somebody uses it in the song, oh, now they want to scream that. Like, nah, you knew what you had when you dropped it out your mouth. Have some foresight to say, you know what, let me protect this now. But I think on that, in that same breath, we need people who can advise them on what to do ahead of time. Because that's the biggest thing. Because how many times we didn't went through the conversation of how you need to protect yourself? Yeah. Several times. How many times you didn't find loopholes and shit that I thought I was protecting myself with? It's tons of times.
We send each other NDAs and non-competes all the time.
NDAs, like it's a frisbee.
I got some with me now.
But you know what? And that's not an insult. That's not an insult, because we understand like what we think and how we're gonna maneuver on an idea. We need to protect that. And as a community, we need to first start with keeping our intellectual property in our community. Because how many people just walk in, now they got an idea. How many times y'all done seen On Fleek in the Old Navy commercial? That's the biggest one that's pissed me off in recent history. It should be no reason that girl shouldn't be doing motivational videos and all this. But when they are literally taking what she did, like her flair, her style, her essence, and they literally profiting from it. Yeah. So we gotta secure the hood IP. Case, like. It really is, but but how would she know that though? Right.
At this point, she don't have no you.
That's a rap at this point.
I mean, it's never a rap. Number one, because the way that intellectual property work is that's lifetimes. As long as she alive, she has a case, and so. But that's another conversation. But I totally agree that it's hard to get people to that next step, and providing networks and educating them on where those resources are is, I think, really important. Like, social media is great for having fun, having a giggle, etc. But like, it's valuable. Like, it's money. It's money. The internet's money to me. I don't go to the social media unless it's about money. Like, I mean, I will post a tweet and disappear because I gotta go work on my money before I come back and check on this money. Like, and being able to use these resources efficiently, because people are building businesses off of these platforms that are multi-million. I mean, you have your podcast. You just passed Grant Cardone. Who's worth more? Like, who? No, I'm saying, like, no, I'm just saying, who's worth more now? That's what I'm saying. It's like, from a marketing perspective, your podcast is more valuable than Grant Cardone's podcast, but somebody got to write a check. And so that's the opportunity, and getting people to be able to see that and know that is very important.
In that same aspect, though, you got to be careful too, because there's gonna be people that's gonna offer you a check, and sometimes that check will come with buying your silence.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We was just talking about that yesterday.
Don't take the money. Don't take the money. Don't take the money unless it comes with a lot of equity. Like,
take my money.
No,
we talked about that yesterday. How like we already have people reaching out to us.
No.
Literally, no.
That's
send me whatever. I will look over it because you don't want that.
I started Growthopedia December the 6th was the launching date. I made revenue by January 3rd. Founders of other companies are already looking at me on Angel List, and it's barely been 45 days. They sweating. I mean, that's it. I mean, when people see that we have great ideas, they understand that if it's making money there, it's going to make money everywhere. And what you want to do is protect that in the right way, because that's not $1 million idea. That's $1 billion idea. And you got to have those pieces in place. Like I started my most recent LLC. I filed the paperwork on the 31st. I got it back on the 6th. I set up the bank account last week. It's 2020. I'm already 2 years ahead of who else is going to try to catch up. By the time I come out with my next step, they're never going to catch up. And so I don't have to worry about that. Everything is in place. I own my IP. I own my corporation. I own my LLC. All of these things are in place. I'll file a suit in a second. And I'll be right there I'll be representing myself, or I'll make some phone calls, because protecting your ideas is very important, and not selling everything, because we've sold things in past generations that were very valuable, like lack of knowledge, because you couldn't pay the taxes, or this is sandy soil, let's give it to people because we can't farm on it. Like, we could talk about Charleston and why we are in Mississippi, because people couldn't farm there. But I mean, how much of that do you keep and pass down? So that's what it's about. We can't we have too much information. We don't have an excuse.
Right. I was gonna say just real quick. I think that, for one, I think it's getting better, especially due to social media. I think it's getting better. I think also a lot of people who are, let's say, over 40, or it doesn't really matter the age, but a lot of people are already set in stone in their ways, so it really doesn't matter. That's why I'm big on educating the youth now, so that by the time they're of age, they're raising their own kids, that mentality is already gone. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are already set in their ways.
It's called learned helplessness. Like they just think that that's it. You know what I mean? But knowing your audience too, right? Social media gives you an opportunity to segment that. Correct. Like we've seen, you've seen it, we've all seen it. How if you focus on if you know who your target is, you can easily identify and get to them on social media. Whereas before, that barrier of entry was, okay, you might be doing something on one block, you might be doing something on another block, but that little bit of gap right there, we can't communicate with each other. Now we really don't have a reason not to. I think, also with that, we got to stop being apprehensive too. We always talk, sometimes we go ghost on each other, but that's because we working on stuff. But usually we come back and be a fire, boom, okay, here's this, and this. You know what I mean? And, I think when it comes down to us sharing our knowledge, just kind of going back to what I was telling you about protecting the hood IP, we also got to remember, if somebody's sharing, we'll throw an NDA to each other, but sometimes you get excited, you want to throw an idea out there. We can't be opportunistic and try to take advantage of other people that's in our same situation, or whatever the case may be, that look like us, because that's short lived, right? You might get a few dollars off of it, but you're gonna let that beautiful idea die because you got greedy, right? Sometimes when you go prospecting for gold, that top rock, that you got to knock that off, right? You might get a couple little pieces of it, but it's a lot deeper than just what the surface shows you, and a lot of ideas, they have so much, they can blossom into these amazing things, but sometimes we stifle ourselves by saying, okay, well, this is where not where you're going to cap yourself, but you'll look at what somebody else is doing, that's not in our community, and you try to gauge yourself off of that. Like you were saying, we are above, judging ourselves and kind of metering ourselves based off of somebody else's narrative that don't look like us, that don't have the same drive as us, same hustle as us, the same spirit as us. You know what I mean? We look like fools trying to like follow that path. You know what I mean? Like, yo, if anything, you know, like we have to kind of design our own path, right? Like we are all architects in our own right. Right, like you doing your thing, you doing your thing, you doing your thing, and the thing is that we're all sitting here because our differences literally can bring us together. Because now we know, like, damn, okay, if I need to go talk to somebody who can really get to kids and actually has a plan to formulate out that who thinks long term, 10, 15 years, I can go talk to bruh. You know what I mean? If I need financing, and I need somebody who can structure it, I can go to you. If I need, okay, cool, I need somebody who gonna put the money in and gonna let me do what I'm gonna do. Call Brandon. If you need a think tank idea, call Adrian, because he's gonna overthink it, but he's gonna hit you with like, you know, he's gonna hit you with some simplified points that you can go back and take and say, all right, cool, I got this. Or you hit Zay up. He say, you know what, we need to you know, drop this margin, this disconnect between the hood and corporate America. You know what I mean? And you know what? Let me not use corporate America as any type of guidance tool or whatever. Just the hood and people that's getting it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they don't realize they are literally doing the same thing, just on different courts. You know what I mean? Like, the same thing. Man. You know, like
turn this mic off. You want me to talk about that?
Listen, some of the best mathematicians I ever met sold dope.
You ain't never learned.
You know
and they'll
what
tell
I'm
you
saying?
quick.
I'm trying to tell you, pimps are the best marketers out there. You know what I mean? Like, I know those are not things that people find attractive, but, you know, you can find a lesson in everything. You know what I mean? But we gotta, you know, sometimes not put the stigma on each other that we, you know, like, oh, you're in this lane, so I don't want to rock with you. But, you know, like, yo, it might be that's the only thing they know. You know, I'm not saying you got to go change them, but shit, if you ain't trying to learn something from them, like, you know, how, you know, who are you? Like,
don't judge them.
Don't judge them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give them.
Because people don't even know.
They don't. Right? Like, yo, you know how many times you told me something, I was sitting there like, and you know, I fancy myself a somewhat intelligent person. I'll be sitting there like,
we know about none of the stuff y'all be talking about.
But you know what? But we'll explain it to each other.
Right.
Like when I explained to y'all how to buy gold, y'all was looking at me like, huh? Like you was sitting there like, wait, what? Assay? What the hell is that? Like, yo, but it was something that I was proud to tell y'all. You know what I mean? Like I ain't feel like I was stunting on y'all. I ain't feel like I was trying to teach the ignorant nothing. I was just like, yo, the guys need to know this, just in case they ever run across this. And I think that's like, as a community, what we need to do more of. You might run across this. Let me give you some of this game so you can go out and do something with it. You know what I mean?
I want to throw this in a pot for y'all. Anybody over 35 in here? Okay, so hold on. Oh, damn, you got me beat. So we the OGs sitting at the table, right? Young OGs. I'll take it that way. Yeah. So, but look, the perspective that y'all carry for y'all being so young, I wasn't thinking like this at 25. I don't know about you. But where I'm from, it's a whole different perspective in your 20s. I am the original hyphy movement. So everything that y'all heard about, all of that shit was popping. It's a whole different world, right? I wanna say thank y'all for being inspirational and for living the life that you living. Because y'all are starting so young, by the time y'all get 35, 36, y'all growth is gonna be exponential. And you guys are gonna lead a whole different perspective, right? And I want y'all to start thinking about holistically the version and the narrative that we want to tell from a heritage standpoint. Y'all are light years ahead, and y'all may not know that because your circles feed each other. But the ones that you focusing on serving and the babies that I'm serving, the heritage that they belong to is the culture that they're a part of, right? So your culture is your values, your norms, and your beliefs. We got to figure out how we're going to change the narrative by creating a new value system, by creating some new norms, right? By creating some new beliefs. And the only way that we can do that is for y'all to continue to become masters of your fields. So when y'all do come talk to the babies and they see y'all up close and personal, they can say, man, he looked just like me. He looked just like my daddy. He looked just like my uncle. He's so familiar. He walked like me. He talked like me, but he's winning on a whole different perspective. So as y'all continue to build, right, all of y'all are talking about super cloth talk, wealth and abundance, prosperity, riches, right? We having these conversations. There's a whole nother generation behind us in front of us and next to us that don't have that mindset. So as we're progressing, as we're building, we also got to teach. Y'all are responsible for all of the wisdom that you have to not only teach each other and uplift each other, but y'all got to leave breadcrumbs behind y'all so the rest of the tribe can catch up. Some of us are dealing with so much generational trauma that we can't get out of the whirlwinds and the earthquakes that we in to even see what half the shit y'all talking about right now.
Yeah.
So how do we do that, right? So my challenge for y'all, while y'all in my city and when y'all go back home, is start thinking about what are the breadcrumbs going to be that I'm going to leave. Because I got so much knowledge, I got so much wisdom, I'm so far off into what it is I'm creating, I may not be able to come back. Me and my business partner have this thing, it's called the 5,000 foot view, and then in the trenches. So y'all are 5,000 foot view, cloth talk all day, what y'all talking about. So again, some of this shit I can't spell because I dropped out of school in 4th grade. That's another story. But I live in both worlds. I can come sit at the table and have a crafty, articulated conversation with y'all about some certain things, but then I can also go back to the hood or to the trap or go talk to the babies who ain't never heard of none of this shit and give them the game in a way that they can take advantage of so that they can start following the system that we creating. Right. So I think in order for us to be successful, we got to start creating a heritage. That's the first thing they strip from us.
Heritage.
The heritage. We don't have we don't have a language. We don't have holidays. We don't know where we from. I just came back from Africa this summer. We don't know none of that shit. One of the Africans, I was in Egypt, and the brother was like, "Where you from?" I was like, "The States." He was like, "Nah, where you from?" Yeah. California. He was like, "No, where you from?" Sacramento. He was like, "Nah, brother, where you from?" I was like, "Man, I'm from Oak Park, right? It's one of the hoods in Sacramento. That's what I'm from the P." Like. He was like, no, you don't understand. Like, you look like you're Sudanian. You look like you're from Sudan. Your facial structure looks like them. If my people are from Sudan, I could go back and see what those people do and what their lineage was and attach myself to that. We are not attached to a lineage no more. And since we're not attached to a lineage no more, we don't have any rules or regulations to follow.
We just wander all around.
And so TD Jakes has said when they brought us over here on the boats, they didn't bring us all from one place. They mixed and shuffled and moved stuff around. So you had, thousands of people in one place from different places that didn't speak the same language, that didn't have the same religion, that didn't eat the same foods, that didn't believe in the same things. And now we have all this division here now. So I think in order for us to move forward, we got to take responsibility for building the heritage, which will develop the culture so that we can be successful. So I want to challenge y'all with that, man. Whatever y'all doing from here on out, y'all just continue to build amongst yourselves. But remember, like, if we build a king code, we got to live by that code for sure.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Hey, I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily. All I want is dubs. You know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper. All I know is run money marathons. I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily. All I want is dubs. You know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper. All I know is run money marathons.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.